Today on What Went Wrong, you can give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We really don't give a shit. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I've made a lot of movies and gotten a lot of flack for the movies I've made, especially the early ones. We've talked before about the comments and the comment sections and the reviews that people leave behind. But we're going to talk a little bit about the actual, not science, but maybe a little bit of the science behind it and the reviews and the reality of how many stars you get and things like that. Lady Lawman is currently sitting at like 3.5 stars, I think, which is a great rating because especially if you're going to say that your 5-star movies have got to be the Godfathers and the Casablancas.
Yeah.
As good as Lady Lawman is, it's not going to stand up against Magnificent Seven, the original. It's not going to stand up against those. I can understand taking 1.5 stars off,
Right.
for that. So I'm very proud of a 3-star rating. When you made a movie for $10,000, this can go back to Blow a Kiss or Sierra Rabbit 5 or any of those movies that made 2.5 to 3.5 stars. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very proud of those. However, I also don't put a lot of stock into them either.
Right.
Because you can have either a bunch of your friends putting up on stuff if it's not getting a lot of general ratings. Like Lady Lawman, I know there's so many people have ranked these that I don't know 1,500 people or whatever.
Right.
So I know that a lot of those people are not people that we know. I also know that there's a lot of actors that we've worked with that don't rank the movies. Or, which is a little more frustrating, when an actor or a friend of yours, will give you 3 or 4 stars. You know who I'm talking about on a movie. And it's like, no, I get that you have your principles and you want to rank, you feel like it's a 4-star movie, but this is your buddy.
Yeah.
And there's a science and algorithm behind this. And when you rank it lower, you're actually hurting your buddy. Because now that whether it's a fake or a compromised rating or whatever, you are hurting it because it's now not less likely to be promoted by the algorithm and put in front of other people. So if you are a filmmaker or you're an actor in a film or you're a friend of a filmmaker, don't give them a 3 or a 4-star rating. Help them out and give them that 5-star.
Right.
Yeah, it's a hoax, but the whole thing is a hoax to begin with.
Right.
Because you're going to get people who aren't, the majority, 98% of the people are not going to look at a $10,000 film and rate it as a $10,000 film. They're just going to give it a 0.5 star right away. And not even going to watch it. Or they're going to complain about the shirts being too white. Or any number of things like that. So that in itself is going to be, great, a scam. And when we were doing films as Ponderous, we would send a lot of our films to Film Threat, which was an independent film review magazine. Online, it started off actually print, and then it was online, and you can still see some of our reviews. And we'd average about 3 stars, 2.5 to 3.5 stars from them, but they would rate it and they would review it and give good reviews based on what it was.
Right.
What Serial Rabbit was. They knew that it was a $300 movie and they rated it and reviewed it based on that. They weren't trying to hold it up against the original Halloween.
Right.
They were rating it as that. So that's something that was really appreciated and very good for filmmakers. But now everybody's a frickin' critic.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks their opinion is just as valuable as somebody that has been critiquing and reviewing movies forever. And most people couldn't tell you what a good actor is or why a performance is good or whether the lighting is good or not. Just because this person's a little out of focus or this person's a little darker lighting-wise, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know why they did that. That may still be, there may be a really good artistic reason behind that. And somebody who just works at a convenience store, no disrespect to convenience store workers, but if you're just a convenience store worker and you're gonna critique this movie like a professional, no, you're not, because you have no idea what was put into that film. Right. So the rating scale has to be taken with a grain of salt. Unfortunately, you have to play that game if you want to, play the algorithm and increase your views and get it in front of more and more people.
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever really even look at the stars when I'm watching a movie. Whether, does it have 3 stars? Does it have 2.5 stars? 5 stars? I can't remember the last time I did that. Maybe I might look up at, to see, I wonder what Casablanca gets now. Yeah. 3.5. How do you get 3.5 stars on this movie? But it's not going to be a determining factor for me watching a film.
I've never looked at the stars that pop up on any movie review about anything. Siskel and Ebert could suck my nuts. I've never cared what they had to say. These reviewers, these guys are the same assholes that thought the latest Star Wars movies were, brave and awesome and subverting expectations. And the fans are like, this is a piece of shit, and everyone can tell.
Yeah, look at Rotten Tomatoes when you have the critic score and the audience score.
Critic scores in the 90s, audience scores in the 20s. And it's like, so let me get this straight. The critics love it, but no one else does. Well, the critic's going to pay for it, which in the end is the biggest tell. I like movies that I like. I don't like movies that I don't like. There's certain movies that I really like. I love disaster movies. Love a disaster movie. If you've got some building or ship or airplane or something else that's being destroyed by something, I am there for it, One of my favorite movies, I can't remember the name of it now, that I was watching the other day. I said the other day, a couple of years ago. Whatever the hell it was, because you can't tell in my world. It was a movie from Korea. And it was basically a nuclear reactor in their town. They have an earthquake or something. It was after the Fukushima, But there wasn't a tsunami. It was just a nuclear reactor and earthquake hit. So it was like a combination of the movie Earthquake and Chernobyl at the same. It was just one of those things. And of course, it's very, very Asian is the way they present the themes and it's the self-sacrificing thing, but it's more Korean than Japanese because it isn't the brave hero, it's the loser hero, who decides to make good and sacrifice himself to save blah, 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 Chernobyl itself I loved because we remember Chernobyl. I mean, we were, 13, 14 when that happened? Mm-hmm. And so I was watching that show, especially when the helicopter crashed. Spoiler. They were flying in the helicopter crashed. Well, I remember when that helicopter actually crashed. I remember watching it on the news when it actually hit the cable and went into the thing, and I was like, I remember that, Of course, Titanic's history of Titanic, which I like more than anything else. But it just the earthquake and the towering inferno. Oh my God, the towering inferno back in the day.
A little bit of a side note, though, I do blame disaster movies for the way the government and all this has handled COVID, because there were so many people that came up on those. Everybody wanted to be that scientist that was in the right, and they were being careful, and they were going, well, if we do this, then everything's going to wipe out. And every real scientist wanted to be that guy, so they had to play it particularly safe. 3 million people could die. We need to be careful here. So everybody was like, oh, we got to play it safe. We don't want 2012 to happen. We don't want the Towering Inferno to happen. And now
we don't want Dante's Peak to happen. We want to be Pierce Brosnan and not the other guy. Yeah.
So instead of balancing it from okay, let's worry about the economy and people's health. There's a middle ground there. Yeah. We got to go all the way over here and be Mr. Safe Scientist guy that's not going to take any chances and is going to
And unfortunately, the rest of the planet's like off.
Yeah.
As they're finding out now. Even their own little disaster people looking at you, Mrs. Cortez, who wants to shut down New York, but then wants to hang out in Miami without a mask and drink martinis on the beach with her boyfriend and hang out at the little music thing and hug on everybody and no one's wearing masks because Florida. So whatever. But anyway, a lot of those movies weren't reviewed well. You know, they just, I mean, all-star, Towering Inferno back in the day was like 73. All-star cast. I mean, there wasn't anybody in that freaking movie who wasn't an A or B list actor in Hollywood back in the set. Not a one. Everybody was famous, you know. And it was all about who's going to make it out, you know. And Airport 77, which was really not a very good movie. But I'm a pilot, and I love, you know, airplane geek stuff. And I've been to the Midwest airports when the weather is horrible like that. And the 707's a beast. And so I love those things, but they're not reviewed well, usually. Okay. And now, I got one. It was one the other day where it was like a disaster movie, but then they put a horror movie on top of it. I'm like, what? No. And then you get a 1 because you give me the disaster movie, yay! But then you give me slasher movie, boo! And so I'm out. And like I said, slasher movies, I won't watch them. I don't like them. So you can make the best slasher movie anyone's ever made. You know, like making the best pizza anyone's ever made. But if you don't like pizza, I'm not going to watch it. You know. And so you have to take that into consideration when you're looking at your whatever. Is you may have made a great whatever it was. But there are just going to be some people who just aren't happy with it.
Yeah, I can't remember which one of our recent films was attacked, but it was from a guy whose even profile says that he goes after no budget films that just don't need to be made and shouldn't be on Amazon.
What a douchebag!
And it is frustrating because it's like, what about the people that do want to? You know, there is an audience for people who want to see those.
I like those movies.
And just because something is low budget doesn't mean that you're not going to enjoy it. There are people really liking Lady Lawman.
I'm like McClane. I like the low budget movies, man. I'll.
And now this asshole is going to go, and just because he's got something against, maybe because you know he tried making movies one time and he sucked at it.
He sounds like he's angry because he got butt hurt.
Yeah. And it's why do you devote your life to this? Why
it's a very unusual thing to devote your life to. It's
yeah.
Like, I don't like low budget movies. So I was like,
yeah, because all you know. What about Peter Jackson? He started off making low budget films.
Oh my God, some of them are just terrible.
You know, and he had to make them so he could get better.
Yeah,
you know,
Peter Jackson is actually a good example of how you can make movies for years and years and years, but get better and better and better as you do it. And at the end of the day, you're making some of the greatest trilogies the world's ever seen. You know, but yeah, it's one of those things where, excuse me, I like certain things, I don't like certain things. Now, I won't downgrade a slasher film. Like, I won't go to it and downgrade it because, using the pizza analogy once again. I'm not going to say your pizza is 1 star because I don't like pizza. It wouldn't make any sense for me to downgrade your pizza, or to even to grade it if I don't like pizza. By the way, I do like pizza.
I was going to say, we better put a little disclaimer in here because people...
Jeffrey loves
I was going to send him
pizza.
some coupons for pizza.
Jeffrey loves the pizza. Send them, bring it. I'm ready for it. I'm there for you.
Little hometown plug, especially Jay Christopher's.
Jay Christopher's Pizza in Kingwood, Texas. Holy balls, man! You guys are just the absolute. Anyway, we're getting off the subject, but it wouldn't make any sense for me to go to your pizza review site and downgrade all the pizzas to 0 because I'm here to downgrade your pizzas because I don't like them. Okay, it's like someone who doesn't have a driver's license downgrading cars. It's like someone who doesn't know how to fly, saying that this airplane's no good.
Well,
it's like someone who doesn't. It's like someone who doesn't know how to do anything about what they're doing, downgrading stuff from people who do know what they're doing.
Yeah, and especially on something like Amazon Prime, where you have your Amazon and you're getting it for free, And this would be in comments before. They need to take crap like this off of Amazon Prime. It's like, look, you click on it and you see within 5 minutes, probably a lot earlier than that, what the movie is and how much, whether it was low budget. You didn't pay for it. It was free with your subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Just back out of it and pick something else.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And don't sit there and slam it because they didn't have a lot of money for the film.
You're looking for that's the kind of asshole, like I said, who doesn't like pizza and is just going to go on your website and say your pizza sucks.
Yeah,
because he doesn't like pizza.
I mean, how many reviews are like, I didn't even finish it?
Well, then how the can you talk about it?
How do you know the ending just didn't blow you away? You know, I think that that's the way I view Lady Lawman. Is it's kind of slow throughout, but but it slowly pulls you in.
Mm-hmm.
That climax in Lady Lawman is I think some of my best work, if not the best work. Scene wise.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the movie itself in general, but I mean, the way it turned out, the way it worked out, the way it happened. I watched the whole movie and didn't realize that I was done with the movie. Mm-hmm. Me. I hate movies. I don't like watching movies. You know, it's seriously like pulling teeth to get me to go and watch a movie. Okay, girlfriends I've had, you want to sit and watch a movie? No, I'd rather not. I'd rather do anything except watch a movie. I can't think of anything on the planet I would rather do less than watch a movie. I'd rather go to the dentist than watch a movie because it'll be over faster. Mm-hmm. You know, I detest them. I can't stand them. And if I'm sitting there and watching your movie and I'm just enthralled and sucked in, and I'm like, what the hell's going to happen now? How the hell is she going to get out of this? Okay. So I don't mind the slow burn. I love Black Hole. Mm. You know, that's one of my favorite movies, and that is a slow movie, you know. And so I don't mind taking my time to get somewhere. I mean, The Ring is a great movie. I like it. I say great movie. It's one of the things I like. But it's slow. There's not a whole lot of real big hits, you know. But I like that. Jaws is a slow movie because you don't see the damn thing for the longest time. But when it happens, it's awesome, you know. 2001, 2010, you know, which also are movies that I like. And so you have these movies that are slow, but they're meaningful. They're impactful. They mean something. They motivate me. They move me to feel something, which is also unusual for me. Because once again, I'm relatively unemotional. I don't particularly care for most things. And if you've managed to pull that out of me, good job, dude, because that's not me. And Lady Lawman did that for me. Now, someone could say they don't like it. Shit, why did they put this on TV? It's like, oh, does someone not like pizza? Did someone get butt hurt? Show me on the doll where the movie hurt you. Show me on the doll where the movie touched you inappropriately. Get the out of here, you douchebag. You know what? You're the reason that condoms exist. People like you, man.
Well, I want to pose the question very simply to anybody out there that does this, and ask yourself, what kind of person are you, or how receptive are you to new things? How adventurous, or what does it say about your taste, about your open-mindedness, about the type of person you are? If you go to a YouTube video and the first thing you look at is how many likes versus how many dislikes there are, and that's the determining factor as to whether you're going to watch the video or not. I mean, seriously, let's think about that for a moment. Mm-hmm. You're looking for something to watch, and what you're basing, whether you click on that video or not, what you're basing that decision on is the like to dislike ratio. And you're only going to click on it if a lot of people like this movie. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, and the thing is, I consider myself to be superior to most people.
So these are the same people who are going to bitch about popularity contests in high school, too.
I consider myself superior to most people, so their opinions mean absolute dick to me. It's not so much that I'm better than you, but I'm better than you. And so if someone says, oh, I liked it, I didn't like it, I'm like, hey, let me check my list real quick and let me see if I give a what you think. What's your name again? Bill. Bill. Holy crap, Bill, you're not anywhere in my book. I don't give a what you think. Okay. Thanks for coming out, Bill. Thanks for writing a review. Bill, if I wanted you to talk, seriously, I'd pull my your mouth. I don't particularly care what you have to say. I don't care. You're inferior to me. Go away. I mean, that's kind of how people are. You know, people think that they know what they know, and they're the come all end all of whatever else. I don't even write reviews unless I want to say something cool. Okay, because I know, and usually I do it to low budget movies because I've watched low budget movies and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Okay, which happens a lot to me in some of these things. I don't write that. I don't give them 3 stars and say, what the hell's going on? Okay, I just won't say anything because my mother taught me if you can't say anything, I don't say anything at all. If I've watched a movie and something cool, even if it's just one scene, if the movie was just dog okay, and I've watched a bunch of those. But of course, I've watched a bunch of those that cost $300 million too. Mm-hmm. Look at you, Star Wars. Not the 4, 5, and 6, the 7, 8, and 9. Those pieces of crap. Anyway, and Solo, because who the hell wanted that movie? But anyway, if they've done something like there's a beautiful sunset that they've recorded, or there's that one scene with the tree where they're having that conversation, that one scene, the scene with the so-and-so was outstanding. Love the lighting, love the tension, love the music, love whatever. And I'll do that. Because I understand that everyone is trying to get better. And these filmmakers are trying to do what they're trying to do, and they're trying to get better. They're trying to do more. That's the idea. I'm going to assume they are. That's how you are. I'm going to assume that they're going to do the same thing. And so if everyone's saying, oh, I love your movie, or oh, I hate your movie, or I don't like this movie because I don't like pizza. But if they look at a review and they like the scene with, next to the tree when they're having that conversation, that moved me, or that really was a centering thing. Then they're going to go, okay, that was something that I need to remember for the future. Or if I'll tell them, if I do give any criticism, it's gentle for those kind of guys, assuming they're not just making crap. There's guys who just make crap, and I just don't say anything about it. But if they had the one scene was really good and this one was confusing at the end, or something happened, I may say something like, really love this, really love that. I got a little confused with this, that, and the other thing, but overall I liked it. And that way they can go, yeah, we did get a little confusing at the end. Okay, so next time, and it'll help them be better in the future. Mm-hmm. But I'm never ever going to leave a review that is not going to help them be better in the future, or at least show them that someone appreciates what I'm doing. Okay, and that's like that's one of the few I guess little kindnesses I give anybody on the planet, because I don't do that to people. But I understand, because I know where you came from, and I was there when you were 17 years old, trying to figure out your place in the world. And you get this like 20, 21-year-old who attended Mr. Mauser's, film class 1 and 4 and the senior project and all this stuff, and they want to go forth and do great things. And in the strain of Mr. Mauser, the way he taught me to do things, I'm trying to get these lessons, and I could see that they're headed a direction. So then I'll be critical, but supportively critical. Okay. Now, $300 million movie from Hollywood. Now, it's a piece of crap, and you should know better. You got paid $300 million to make an absolute dog movie. The hell are you thinking? What are you doing? Dude spends $1,000 to make this kind of indie film, and it had some absolutely gorgeous scenes in it, and absolutely beautiful ways of doing things, and the lighting was really good, and maybe the dialogue was but the way that the blocking was good. I'm like, you know what? That was good, like it, good job, keep it up. Okay. That's the only kindness people are going to get from me when it comes to stuff. But I think it's important, because, like I said, just because I don't like pizza doesn't mean I'm going to tell you your pizza's bullshit. Okay? If you don't like indie films, if you don't like small films, if you don't like pizza, why are you going to a pizza place and then bitching about their pizza? Get the fuck out, you douchebag.
if you're gonna critique something, critique yourself first.
Yeah.
Do I have a reason to critique this thing, or
No,
am I just butthurt?
I'm just a butthurt douche that has nothing better to do but go home and sit in my mom's basement and cry myself to sleep.
And we've had this too. The people the other filmmakers, whether we know them or whether they just know that we're some dude from Seattle that's like, oh, you guys, how dare they make a movie? Whether it just the ones that go out and just target other filmmakers.
Yeah.
It's just they're just people, and it's really a shame. And then the people these are the same people that will complain about social media and how it's given a voice to stupid people. Congratulations, you're a stupid people.
You're stupid people.
And I just can't say it enough that to other filmmakers that you have to be able you have to be able to critique yourself, and you have to legitimately be able to accept, look, this is where I went wrong, this is what could have been done better. Me personally, I need a month after the film is done to be able to watch it, and I do the best I can while in post, but I need that month not having seen it to come back and be able to spot the errors and see, oh, this is what I could have done, because you get so close to it. So you have to be able to listen to your own criticism. Other people, you got to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And especially the anonymous reviews, because you don't know if they've had a bad day,
or if they're drunk.
Yeah.
Or high.
And when they do that, they're not going to go back. And then the next day, they're going to go, you think they're going to go, I was a little rough on that kid. And even if they do you think they're going to go back and change it? No.
Now they're at the next place criticizing something else about something that no one cares about. Man,
yeah. So, wrap up. Yeah. So, to just if you're a filmmaker, relax. Don't put all your stress in there. And it is a popularity contest when it comes to the algorithm.
Yeah.
And understand that. And sadly, I'm giving you the advice to play that game.
Yeah.
Tell your friends to go and give it to 5 stars. Go and give it the good reviews. Because it's not a person sitting there. It's a computer algorithm that you're basically placing your career, the life of your hand, the life of your film and your film career in the hands of a computer algorithm. And if convincing your actors and your cast and crew and your buddies to go and give it 5 stars is going to help you with that, then do it.
Just real quick to say also, I always give the 5 stars to the indie guys if they're good, because I understand that. I understand it's not about what I actually feel about the film. But I think stuff like this is more important than the $300 million pieces of crap that Hollywood's giving us today. Because these guys are the future. You guys making the movies, you guys doing this stuff, you're the way it's going to be. You're the future of this stuff. And honestly, I love what you're doing. Even if I don't like what you're doing, I love what you're doing. Like I said, just because I don't like pizza doesn't mean you can't make a great one.